A few days before the Russian military began its full-scale invasion of my home country, my mother shared with me someone's piece of writing that said, "If only men knew how hard it is to give birth to life, they would never destroy it." At this point, the war in Ukraine has been unfolding for 1.5 years. Every single day we lose human lives, our natural habitat, as well as our cities, towns and villages built by generations of our ancestors continues getting destroyed. It has been extremely painful time. I'm fully conscious of my privilege as someone who lives in a peaceful region of the world, and I recognize that I cannot possibly comprehend the full extent of the suffering of those of us who do experience it firsthand. Yet through the connection to my immediate family and friends who remained in Ukraine, I always feel like there is a part of me that lives there, so there is no way to escape your heart breaking over and over again. The grief is a powerful and transformative experience. As a teacher, it has been showing me the need to look for the very root of violence and wars, not only in a form of external systems of oppression, but also within myself, in a form of my stored unconscious prejudices, thought forms, and attitudes toward life that contribute to the co-creation of the fragmented and polarized world we are experiencing right now. I have both Russian and Ukrainian family lines, and I have experienced an inner conflict when it comes to my identity long before it erupted in the outer world. Through my healing journey, I have found a way to reconcile the two, and creating art has been and continues to be one of the main tools of returning back to wholeness, to my soul. I started working on the Inexhaustible Cup some days before I saw the news coming from Israel and Gaza. The initial idea was to make it as a gift to some friends of mine. I was inspired to work with this Orthodox icon I remember from my childhood, which I found unintentionally a couple of months ago on the door of an old church. It spoke to me in that moment in a different way, and as I continued making the composition while also watching the horrific scenes coming from the Holy Land, this image started to gain for me an additional potency, considering that it features a central female figure of all the Abrahamic wisdom traditions. Searching for the root cause of violence allowed me to discover that the disregard for human life and for nature at large partly comes from the dishonoring of the feminine as a sacred life force energy and the creative principle. It is especially pronounced in my brothers all across the world, many of whom are exploited as an unconscious force of destruction through military recruitment and warmongering propaganda. This disconnect from the feminine within us makes any attempt to know ourselves deeply and intimately impossible, and so we lose our spiritual sovereignty and spend our whole lives chasing after ideologies that promise us belonging to something greater than ourselves, but usually at the expense of freedom of those who look, think, pray, speak, or live differently than us. We start seeing them then as fundamentally separate from ourselves. And once this distorted perception takes deep enough roots within our own minds and hearts, it is only a question of time before the door that leads to dehumanization and tragic acts of violence toward our neighbors opens. I share this work today holding a strong aspiration and hope for our collective awakening from the nightmare we have created in our forgetfulness of who we truly are as divine beings. It is a dedication to the Great Mother, who I believe invites all of us now as her beloved children to disarm our hearts so that we can enter once again into our inner temple, the only place from which our healing, joy, love, and peace can come. May this image bring blessings to all of you who see it and to everyone around you.